Guy
Excellent.
Stinson is a visionary thinker and strategist on a mission to help people discover the power that is hidden in what they do not know. In today's session, he will talk about the place of God, gold, and silver in your life and why this is vital for this time. Guy, welcome to the Bree Talk stage.
Thank you, Terry Lee. And I've been listening to the talks. It's been great and wonderful to hear from all the speakers. So, as you know, from a very young age, I felt called into ministry. And I've just been a person who's questioned very deeply about everything. And so this has taken me to a wide range of subjects. I ask the questions other people don't ask. And when you do that, you start finding the answers that other people don't have. And this has great impact for us, especially in the time that we're in. There's a lot of pressures that are coming up against our income, our finances, how we're going to get through life, and so on. And I want to speak a little bit about that today. So, the website to go to sunsgold.com, you will find a free report there you can download. And if you wish to reach out to me thereafter, you are more than welcome to. So the information is on the website. Before I go further, I need to just declare there's a disclaimer. This is, legal. We're in a country where this is necessary. And basically, some of the text is behind your picture. So I'm going to summarize it to say that I'm not a financial advisor. I'm an educator. Please speak to appropriately qualified financial advisors, tax advisors, retirement advisors, and so on if you need information in that regard. So, with that behind us, let's move into the topic today. And this really comes down to your why. And if you think about it, all of our life revolves around money and provision. And without that, if things choke off, it gets extremely difficult. And for parents, you'll understand that if you've got children, you've got grandchildren, you understand that this is an important subject. But as we go through this, there are things that we are not taught, and it's what we don't know that's so important, because we fall in the holes that we don't recognize. Our cars run into the pit on the dark roads when there's a hole there, and we don't know there's a hole there. So the question I've got for you is, what kind of money should you earn? And there's two kinds of money. The first kind of money is the kind that grows in value over time. And then you get a second kind of money, and that is the kind that decreases in value over time. What that means is you can buy less and less and less with the same amount of money. So the kind that rises in value over time is gold and silver. And the time that devalues is what is known as fiat currency. It's a kind that we carry around in our wallets and we do our interactions with. And the question is, well, what is fiat currency? Fiat currencies are issued by governments, and basically they have little to no real value whatsoever. Now, the dollar used to be attached to gold, which meant that if you bought a dollar, you would in fact be buying the equivalent of gold in the background. But then Nixon came along and said, but that's too limiting for us. We want to be able to print endless dollars. Then that means you've got to disconnect it from gold. And when they did that, the result was that we now operate in a fiat currency that has nothing more than the perception of value. And a problem when you deal with these kind of currencies is that as the governments print more and more and more, and they throw more and more of these basically debt certificates at us called dollars or pounds or whatever, it erodes the value, and the value of that currency goes down and down and down. So as we look at this, we can illustrate this by saying, what does our US debt look like? Because the greater the debt, the less the value of the currency. And it's around $34-35 trillion. And we can illustrate this by taking $1 bills and let's start stacking them on top of each other. And the result is you will create a power from Earth to the moon, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, but 5 times. That is what the US debt looks like in real terms. We can illustrate this another way, and you can take $100, you can stack it up until you have $10,000. We can stack the $10,000 up until we have $1,000,000. We can stack those up and until we have $100,000,000, and it would look in terms of scale like you see here with a woman on a couch and a pallet of money. What does $1 billion look like? Well, it looks like this woman and the man standing next to several pallets. What does $1 trillion look like? Here we have a picture represented to scale. That's the White House in the top right-hand corner. There's a jumbo jet or a Boeing jet in the background, and it gives you an idea of how huge this debt is. And it's here because basically governments create the free right to print as much as they want. So what does our debt look like? Well, there's a picture of it. And in the middle of this picture, you'll see the Statue of Liberty for reference. And this debt is so extraordinary, we are beyond the ability to pay it back. And with it, it's dragging the value that you have in your wallet down and down and down and down. And the way you experience that is that goods cost more and more and more, and you can buy less and less and less, which means you are getting increasingly poorer by the day. This whole system that is driving this is crumbling, it's collapsing. And when you go to the website sunsgold.com, you'll get a free report. And in that free report, here's a section. And it says that gold historically has been a hedge against uncertainty. So when the threat of wars rise, when the threat of economic collapse is on the rise and so on, then typically people who know and understand these things will start running to gold. And historically, fiat currencies have been very weak by comparisons in times of trouble and stress. This illustration shows you the value of gold, and then also shows you how the currencies that we carry around with us has decreased in value. And over the last 100 years, the decrease in value of the major currencies, the yen, the pound, the US dollar, is close to 98% compared to gold. So in other words, if you had $100 of gold, you would still be able to buy $100 today. But if you had 100 years ago bought $100 of fiat currency, you would only be able to buy about $2 worth. And again, it's this principle of what currency do you want to own, the one that rises or the one that falls? And the question is there a better way for you, your family, and your future? And the answer is yes. But it's not in what we've been taught. It's not in, because these things are not part of our school curriculum. The, showing how you're being done in is not part of the school curriculum. So it's not what you don't know that counts. It's not what you know that counts. It's what you don't know that counts. And Hosea 4 verses 6 says, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. It's our ignorance that gets us. And this is really important. So the question is, well, where does God come into this? And there's an interesting passage here in Haggai 2 verses 8, in which God actually claims the gold and the silver as his. He says, the gold and the silver is mine, says the Lord. So for me, it comes down to a question of who am I going to invest with? Whose currency am I going to invest with? That which God stakes a claim in, or that which is eroding like anything right in front of our eyes? And so the offer I'm bringing to the table is to teach you how to buy and sell gold and silver. This is, for me, not so much in the area of coins and trinkets and so on, that I'm not really attracted to that. But I am attracted to teaching people how to use it as normal currency, replacing the currency they have in their wallet with a currency which is as accessible, as easy to trade and use, but that grows in value rather than erodes. So it's as easy as banking. My aim is to demystify the subject, to protect you and your family, and to build true wealth in future. There is a context to all of this. There is a force driving all of this, or there are many, but here is something I want you to be aware of. This picture that you see here represents what are known as the BRICS countries. They are Russia, China, India, South Africa, Brazil, and they are pulling more countries into this compact, basically they understand where the dollar is. And they are saying to America, we are not playing your game anymore. You have given up. You are selling us paper money that has no substantial value. And so these nations are going out and saying, we are going to develop our own currency based on gold. And we are going to be the powerhouse of the future. Now, gold is a commodity. What that means is there's a limited supply of it. And when there's a limited supply of anything in the marketplace, the price tends to rise with it. So when you have the driving force of major nations, Russia, China, India, coming to the table and say, we're not going to play this game, we're going to be buying up gold en masse, then I think that is a powerful indicator that we as the man in the street need to pay attention and get on board too. So to wrap this up, there was a man reputed to be the wisest man on the face of the earth, and his name was Solomon. And if you look up in scripture and look at what he earned over $1 trillion in gold every single year. That's how rich he was. And in Proverbs 4, verses 7, he says, wisdom is the principal thing. With all of your might, get understanding. And you can do that, and you can start that journey by going to sonsgold.com. I want you to be in the space of money that's not being eaten out from underneath your feet. And I want you to understand the difference so that we can get rid of that which is eroding our wealth and making us poorer by the day. So there's a free report for you. Download it. Whether you come to me or to somebody else, I highly, highly encourage you to start expanding your understanding of the subject. It is super important, especially for this time. I say thank you to all of you. Thank you, Terry Lee. Much appreciated for this opportunity to share this knowledge with you. Blessings to all.